Hi guys, today we're going to be isolating bird sounds with Izotope RX11. I recently did an overnight field recording and I saved the hour before and after dusk and dawn to analyse bird sounds. And I seem to have found myself a mystery bird. I think it's a woodpecker making a flight call, but when I went to confirm that with a Merlin app, the Merlin app doesn't recognise it as any bird at all. So I thought I'm going to isolate it and see what I can do with it. So let's head over to my screen and we'll get started. I've loaded up both the dusk and the dawn recordings in Davinci Resolve, and I've sectioned out the bits where this mystery bird is. So I'll delete all the unwanted, and here we have 5 versions of that call. I'll play it at the end of the video when I do a before and after comparison, but for now, with these multiple calls of the same bird, I'm going to do a bit of an experiment. I'm going to work on them all at the same time in Izotope RX. I'm going to increase the volume of all of them. If you have a look over here on the right hand side at A1, this is the audio that we're looking at. I'm going to run the playhead across the audio. This is what I'm after. I'm going to try and get each piece of audio to peak around the -3 to -5 decibel level. So I'll do that now. It's all going to be about the same height, so I can just go through them. I'm actually going to delete this one because there's a car engine going through it. Right, we're going to export that as one piece of audio. I'll drag that file into RX, and there it is. So the bird we're looking for is this one. The one with the repetitive vertical lines. You can see it all there. If you follow my cursor again, all the other markings are other bird sounds. So we need to try and clean those up. So we're just left with the sound that we actually want. Now we're not necessarily going to get that. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through a few processes and then we can select which one we actually want, the cleanest one at the end. So this is the experiment I'm doing really. I'm trying to see if I can do them all at the same time rather than one at a time. One of the first things we can do in RX is remove the ambient background noise. To do this, I'll follow my cursor. We need to use these tools down here. So we have a vertical box, a square box, and a horizontal box. We're going to use the vertical box. So you need to click on it, then find a piece of audio with as little other sound as possible other than the ambient sound. So I'm looking at this area here. There's a few bird noises in there, but it needs to be around a second long, and that is there about a second long. So what we do now, follow the cursor on the screen here, click on an area there beyond the sound that you're after, and just move that over, highlighting that region. Now follow the cursor still. Now come over to the right hand side and click on Spectral De-Noise. That's there. Now click Learn. Once you've got that, come back to the screen and click off the highlighted area. Now click Render, and it'll do the whole section of file, as you can see there. If you notice, that's cleaned up quite a lot. Now for now, I'm going to get rid of this, and we're going to use a tool called EQ. So again, follow my cursor. We're going to come over to this side, press EQ, right down here in the bottom of the right hand side, and at the same time we're going to look at where these sounds, the sounds we're interested in, ends. If you bring the box down to just below them, and with a line go across, and here we can see 700. So everything under 700 is unwanted. So what we do with the EQ box is this first one here you want. It's called high pass, otherwise known as low cut, and we're going to roll it off. So we're going to move that over to 500. If you notice the curve, it continues to around 700. Let's keep going. The actual frequency it's rolling off at is here on the box. Look at my cursor. I'm using the 24 decibel roll off setting. Now press Render and have a look at the screen below. It's removed it all. Press it again. It's a little bit higher. Could we come up a bit higher? We could. So let's move it to 547. Render again. Yeah, up it goes. Now let's turn that off. That's one way you can do it. There is another way to do it. Now if we come down to the bottom end here, those icons, look at my cursor. The vertical, let's go to the horizontal. Come onto the screen. Bring that up. So those little bits of roll off, what we can do with those is get rid of them. This is just a demo. I'd run through it a lot quicker on my own, but you need to see what's going on here. Different ways of doing the same thing. Click on Spectral De-Noise, press Learn, Render. So now we're not clicking off the box. Notice here, the box is still there. We're not clicking off onto here. We are just going to render what's in the box. Press Render. If you noticed, the noise that was on the screen is gone. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move this box to my other screen. So when I say Learn, Render, you know exactly what I'm doing because you've seen it. Now we're going to try and clean up the rest of the audio using these tools. Come back to our audio, click off our box. See, more or less the whole of the bottom is cleaned up. Now I think we can do some of the top as well, but if we look here, it's over the 15K mark. Let's highlight that. Do the same while it's in the box, in the highlighted area. Learn, Render. Render again. there's still an artifact. Artifact is still there, so we'll find another way of doing it. We've also got this here. We want to get rid of that and some of this. So now come back down to the icons. Now we're going to use the square one. And we're going to go through a section here, click on highlight, again learn, render, render, render. Okay, what's left? Now we're going to remove vast sections of this, because this is the sound we want right there. The last one does run on a bit. I'm not convinced the last one's going to work, but we'll keep going. Now let's get rid of some big sections, and we're going to go and use the vertical icon. Remember, down here with the tool, the vertical icon, everything going up to this sound. Let's widen that. Is another bird and background noise. Learn, render, 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 render. Now that's removed quite a lot of that. Click off it. Let's do the same here. I think we can run that all the way over to there. Learn, render, 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 render. Good. Let's reduce that a minute. Okay, from the sounds there, I say we can go from here with the liners right up to the edge of there. Same again, learn, render, 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 render. That's about as good as we're going to get it for now. Click off. I don't know what these are here, these artifacts. Let's move over to the next section. Okay, let's do it. Learn, render, 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 render. Not quite. Almost all. Let's go right to the end. Let's get rid of that. Got the right box. Highlight. Learn. Render. 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 So now we've got sounds looking like this. Now this one looks as if it's got birds behind it. Let's have a look. The sound we want is this, and the other sounds are other birds. Let's just drag out this through here. Yeah, so there's our sound, there's songbirds, and there's also a cuckoo in there. Have a listen. This one, in effect, isn't going to work for us, because if we have a look at the adjacent sound, they actually go all the way up. Now in this one, they're actually hidden. Though I can't see them very clearly, so I don't know whether it's a lower pitched call or not. So as we've got multiple versions here, we're going to do a little experiment. Let's click on our box. Remember our icons? Click on a box. I'm actually going to take everything above it out. Learn. Render. Here we have our lines underneath. Can you see them? They don't go as high as the adjacent one. We may have removed them, but there is something here. Now I'm not going to do any more to this one because the call is not a full range at this time. But if we listen to it later, it might be okay, and I could rework it on its own. So let's reduce the screen a bit. This one here has got bird calls in it. Yeah, okay. One on top of the other. Let's have a look at the next one. You can see it right from here. There's a load of them in there. Right here, here. So everything that's not vertical is not really our call. But if we go to the very first one, run slowly. It's just that right there. And if you look at the cross, if you have a look at my cursor, there's the cross. There's 3 extra sounds right there. And I think that's an extra sound. Let's have a look at that. I'm going to leave this little bit at the end of there. I'm going to remove these and this. So let's zoom in a bit. A bit more. My cursor on the top, how I move in between each of them. So it's the very first one. that we're interested in. And zoom in a bit more. Here we are. There's that one sound, there's another sound, and we've got this coming all the way through it. So let's remove as much of this as we possibly can. Now to do that, first I'm going to use the square tool, which we're already on, to get rid of if it'll do the rest of it, I'll get rid of them as well. Stretch it all the way over. Learn, render, 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 render. Okay, that's most of that gone. Now I'm going to come back over to this side. Just get rid of these before it. And that. And that. Possibly as far as there. Let's try that. Learn, render, 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 render. Okay, that's as much as that as we've got. Let's click off. Got that little piece there, and we got this line here. I don't actually know what these are. Let's see if we can remove them with a vertical. So down here with the boxes, vertical. I go from there right to there. Learn, render, 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 render. Okay, that's as much as we can do with that one. Click off. We've got all this here. I don't know what that is. It's an artifact. And it seems to be getting worse. Let's get the lasso tool. So back down here with the icons, lasso tool. Let's try and get rid of that. Again, learn, render, 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 render. Let's do some of these other ones. Let's get up the top here. Going to make sure you close the loop. So everything inside it, that's what's being analysed. So learn, render, 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 render. Yes, that's got most of it. Let's click off. We've still got that line there. And a bit more of the bird noise. So let's actually see if we can take that out. Learn, render. Okay, I'll go with 1. Let's come back, click off. Now I want to run this through and see what that sound is, or that artifact. Okay, so right on that line, our sound starts just after it. So I'm going to go back to the horizontal, the vertical tool down here. I'm going to highlight right up to there. Let's have a look. Let's zoom in a bit. I'm going to reset that. To there. You can see there's a bit of a space between the sound we want and this artifact. So let's learn that. Render, 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 render. That's about as much as wants to be rendered. Let's click off that. Let's have a look at that a bit more. Okay, we got more here. We got another one there. We got this. So I'm going to use the square box, come down the bottom. Learn, render, 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 render. It's gone. Excellent. Let's click on there. Let's get rid of some of the rest of the artifacts. I'll use the square here. We're on the square, yep. Okay. Learn, render, 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 render. It's pretty much all gone. You can see what I'm doing. So if we're going to use this technique, just go as much as you want. Let me get rid of these two. Learn, render, render, all gone. This one here. Learn, render, it's gone. Let's come back in here. So I'm going to cut this out. What's that? That's a second. These here are more than 2 seconds outside of this. And let's have a listen to what this is. See, this up here looks as if there's another sound in there, but because it's mixed up in the audio that we're trying to get, we're going to have to leave it there. If we get rid of that, we'll get rid of most of our audio. So let's clean this up a bit more. Come back down here, the lasso tool. There's a little bit of what we want there. Is that what we want? Or is that an artifact? I don't know. So I'm going to go here. Draw a line around this. Don't forget to close it. Learn. Render. Render. Okay. Back into here. Let's go learn, render, render. Now if you wanted to, you could zoom in to all of these and use the lasso tool to clean that up. But I think for our purposes, or for my purpose anyway, this is as good as we can get it. I'm not sure about these here. In fact, I'll remove them. But I think it's part of our call. So I'm going to click off of that. And I think this might be part of our call as well. So I'm going to leave them here. I can always come back if there's an artifact when we listen to it. Let's have a quick listen to this now. Yep. Did you notice when we played through, there's more other bird sounds. There's some here. Let's zoom in a bit. Let's click there. Just make that. See these here? That's another bird. This is another bird. That's another bird. And there may be elements of other birds throughout this piece of audio. But I think that's so highlighted in colour that we can't get rid of it. If we got rid of that, we would end up getting rid of this part of our call. Now, selecting the best audio from your recordings isn't that easy. I'll actually do another video in the future about that. What is the best? How do you select the best audio? Now these we've selected. If I go back here to show everything, you can see this audio that we've got here, we've been working on, is probably the best audio out of all of these, because it has very limited bird sounds either in the foreground or the background. The rest of them, as we see in the second one, there's plenty of it all through. The third one, there's plenty of it all through. And in the last one, we don't have a full call to begin with, but you can see the bird sounds there. Our best bird call is the first one. We've got 2 seconds either side of it of clean sound. So what we can do here now is I'm going to export this and we'll go back to Davinci Resolve for a before and after comparison before I cut out the piece that we want. There we go, there's our cleaned up file. So if I slide this to the end of there, I will play the whole thing. Now I'm going to cut out the piece we want. 2 seconds after. 2 seconds before. Delete everything else. Let's make a copy. You can hear the bird in it. Well, there you go, folks. That's the best we can do with the audio that I had. The big problem in the end are birds singing over or under other birds. So the sound is all crisscrossed. I'll do another video about that in the future. So for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.